What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Yamcast. After a very small hiatus, which you guys told us all about, that you missed us so dearly, the Yamcast is back. It was back due to some traveling that both you and I did, and then you did. We went out to Malibu, we went out to Atlanta, trying to make you guys all that sweet, sweet content. Sometimes we are not able to make the Yamcast, which is so sad. But today is Yamcast 77. We're going to be talking about a brand new Honda motorcycle. Pretty interesting little bike. We're going to be chatting about that.
Yeah, this is the one that we had talked about, the initial reveal, the teaser.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So we've actually got some numbers on it now.
I want to see the numbers, want to see what it looks like. We've also got some news from Ducati. We finally have some insight as to why they have so many bikes in GP. We finally figured it out, folks. We cracked the code. And then we have a fun third section here where Spite and I are going to be chatting about what's going on with us because we could not find another salient piece of news to chat about, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow news week.
Slow news week. Then for the DM portion of the podcast, we've got the boys sending us in what kind of riding they do week in and week out. We want to hear how many commuters we got out there, how many track day warriors, off-road guys, weekend warriors. We want to see from an anecdotal perspective what our riders on Discord are doing and talk a little bit about what the weekly ride kind of looks like for us too, because I think it's changed a lot over time, at least for me.
Oh my God.
And then finally, we have a bit of a fun thing at the end here. Not exactly a meme contest. We will be looking at some funny YouTube comments that have been left for us that have been curated by our Discord boys. Very exciting. I think we're going to find a lot of salty versus 650 owners. And,
oh man, I hope so.
Oh my God. I made the mistake of perusing through some of that comment. It was just like a landmine. I'm like, man, all these people are so angry at us. We're just out here trying to have fun with bikes, and we've made everyone so angry. That is so sad.
Maybe we should still, at the end of this, just peruse the versus 650 comment section just for giggles.
Yeah.
If we've got time at the end.
We definitely should. We've made so many folks angry. Stick around. It is going to be a good one. And by the way, if you love the Yamcast, make sure to join over on yaminoob.co. That is the best way to support what we do. You can watch these live. It's an awesome thing to have some fun with us here on the Yamcast. And you get 10% off on gear. You get access to all great stuff. 10% off on Twisted Road rentals. Become a member down below. Now let's get into it. Alrighty, Spite, so the first bit of news is this brand spanking new Honda Hawk 11.
Yes, the Hawk 11. This is what we had talked a little bit about in the last Yamcast. We finally have pictures on this thing. And man, it kind of looks like a Honda Husky to me.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but it really kind of does.
They've got a lot of interesting style going on here. Let's blow this up and just talk about the looks for a minute.
Let's talk about the looks. I gotta say, I've seen this bike in the white and black colorway, and it does look like a Suzuki SV650X a whole lot.
It does have a lot about the Suzuki SV650X about it.
Because it's got that half fairing thing, the bubble up the front. You know, it's still very much Honda. I can tell it's Honda. Look at the the mirrors popping out from like under the triple tree.
They look like
what?
They're hard mounted to the frame or to the plastics right here.
That is so weird.
Now, here's something that's going to be a bit controversial, I think. Honda doesn't do soft lines anymore, and I hate it.
Yeah.
There are no soft lines on their motorcycles.
You're just saying that because our Hornet looks so goddamn good.
But it has great lines, and that's
you guys just wait. We have a video coming out later this week.
Guys.
Oh, you're not even ready for how good our Hornet looks.
But tell me that this motorcycle doesn't look like it was chiseled out of, like, wood. You know, it's, like, very angular.
To me, all these new bikes feel like they were made with computers versus being chiseled out of clay. You know, like you look at a Ducati 916 and you see a beautiful shape that someone drew, someone carved, someone clayed. You know, it looks like an optimization problem. I don't particularly love the way this thing looks. I gotta say, I think it's a striking looking motorcycle, but the half fairing thing and I don't know, it's not really working for me. I gotta say,
I think I would like it more without the half fairing, without this round headlight. I think if they just went full torque monster naked, because that's really what Honda doesn't have. Right now, they don't have a torquey naked bike. And then you're thinking, well, they have the 1000 R. It's not a good bike.
It's not an
as far as
MT10.
hyper nakeds go, it is the lamest hyper naked.
Yeah, it's hard to even consider it a hyper naked. It makes like 145.
And then
we got Ducatis making 210 horsepower. I mean, come on.
And then they have the CB650R, which is not really. It's not. It's not even a middleweight. Really.
Yeah. It's a lovely bike. I have to say, I loved riding that bike when we had it as a giveaway, but no, it's not the same thing. Is this an all-new frame? Because this uses the Africa Twin engine, right?
It looks like a new frame. Here, let's pull up the Africa Twin real quick.
It doesn't look like anything else. I doubt that Honda just like made the Africa Twin into like a cafe bike, right? Surely they wouldn't do that, would they?
So let's look at. So this is what we can see of the Africa Twins frame right here.
That main architecture right there.
Let's go. It's pretty similar, man.
Similar, but I think it's different.
Yeah, it definitely looks like if it is the same frame, it's a heavily modified version of it.
Yeah. And we should point out too that the Honda Hawk name is actually quite famous, right? They've made and released many motorcycles with that Hawk name.
They had the Nighthawk, and they had the old. I think they had a Hawk like 400 back in the day.
They had a Super Hawk, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
So this is definitely a nameplate that they've used before.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I mean that's the Rebel 11. That's the Rebel 1100 cluster. So this is already feeling a little parts bin to me. I gotta say, Honda at this point is answering questions that nobody asked.
Yeah,
like I don't think anyone was like, yeah, let's see like an 1100cc Neo Retro thing. Like, huh? It's a bit out of left field, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it does satisfy something that Honda didn't have, again, namely in that torquey naked bike.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, at this point it feels like just a little too late. They're coming to the game so late, and so, I mean, okay, it's competing against stuff probably in the, like, 890-ish range, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll go up against the MT-09. But
such a different bike, though.
It is such a different bike. This feels like the adults, the good boys version of
that's
the
Honda, though, man. That's
bike.
Honda. Honda's just a bunch of good boys. That's why Versus 650 owners are only allowed to dunk on guys who own NC 700s.
Yes.
If you find someone who owns one of those, you can dunk on them. But otherwise, you cannot say anything.
When I was riding from from Birmingham to Atlanta, I was actually riding with a guy who was on an NC 700.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, man, that is such a nerdy motorcycle. And he even had the highlighter yellow rain suit. And I was like,
Yep. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking about, too, now. Because I said earlier, I was like, oh, it's answering questions that nobody asked. But the more I think about it, you've got the MV Agusta Super Veloce. You've got the Triumph Speed Triple Double R. You've got the Z900 RS. Maybe there is an emerging kind of like neo retro thing that's happening that Honda wants in on, but I can't get away from the fact that it does feel like a bit of a parts bin bike. Those mirrors look like they won't work at all.
Yeah, no, they look like ass.
How are you supposed to see anything?
At least they're not up, because you're theoretically going to be riding it in sort of an pseudo-attack position.
Yeah.
So if they were up and out over the frame, like over the edge of the handlebars, you would just see your shoulders. This is just going to show you your knees.
Yeah. The article is referencing the NT 1100, that sport touring motorcycle that Honda put out last year.
Yep.
This, I think, is the NT 1100, but just looking a little different. That might be what's happening here.
I mean, fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, fair play Honda, right? Use what you got, but I don't know. This doesn't excite me. This doesn't get me super jazzed up. I feel like Honda should just like put out like I know it doesn't make any goddamn sense, but just do another like V5 motorcycle.
Yeah.
Do something crazy.
Just buy the design department a bucket of cocaine,
like
and when
they
they're
did
done
back
with
in the 80s.
When they're done with the Coke bucket, come back and figure out what they put on the blackboard.
Yeah. I don't understand why no Japanese manufacturer has not done like a late 80s, early 90s colorway revival.
Kawasaki should absolutely do that with the Ninja.
Yeah, they should Suzuki should do that too, you know? Suzuki had some insane colors back in the 90s and stuff. And maybe the reason I'm a little bored by this thing is the fact that I'm like, I know it's just another big parallel twin bike.
Yep.
It's like blue. It's got a single round headlight.
Okay.
Okay, you know, all right. Chalk another one up, you know?
And it's going to work fine. It's a Honda.
Yeah,
it's going to work fine.
It's going to be just fine. You know, it's going to work just well, you know? But that engine, I bet you they're going to lift it exactly from the Rebel 1100.
Yeah.
I bet you it's going to be like exactly the same thing or exactly from the NT 1100. It's not going to feel special or different or anything, you know?
I mean, imagine this motorcycle, but instead of the 1100, it was an 800 pulled right out of the Interceptor.
Yeah.
Like, if they'd have just popped a V4 in there,
that would have been exciting.
Talking.
I would have been like, oh, shit, okay.
Then we have it's reusing an engine that they already have.
Yeah.
But still, that's something that's different.
Yeah.
It's not just a big bore parallel twin.
Yeah. As good as P-Twins are, you know, the M207's great, the Triumph Bonnevilles are great, the Africa Twins, great. It is becoming like...
It's de rigueur.
It's what?
De rigueur. Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Everybody's got just...
It's become like the kind of V6 Camry of the world, you know? You're just like, yeah, like, okay, like, it's just like everyone has one, you know? And it's starting to get a little boring with all the P-Twins, but... Yeah.
It's such a shame that the most... I'm going to hate myself for saying this, but the most unique parallel twin right now is Kawasaki's, because they're the only one that has the like the standard firing order parallel twin.
And that's the most interesting one.
No, it's the most like unique.
Oh, unique.
They're all
right. Yeah. They're all running the 270. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're by virtue of not pushing the envelope at all, they've become the one standout.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
But the question is, for a good reason or not? They've basically been left behind.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a bummer, because I feel like we were wanting something that felt special.
Yeah.
From this, because it's a new Honda. It's a new Honda.
Yeah.
It's just same old Honda now.
Bit boring. Yeah. So if we ever get our hands on a Hawk, love to tell you guys how it rides. I'm sure, like Spite said, it's gonna ride just fine, be just okay, and probably won't leave us wanting much more after that. But
Yep. Let's
move on to the next bit of news. Ducati's raking in the big bucks.
Oh, yeah. This explains why they have 8 bikes on the grid in GP.
Yes.
And you're saying they're still not going to win.
They are not going to win a title this year. They are not. Ducati is cursed. They are not going to do it. They absolutely flubbed it by trying to improve on the GP21, making the GP22 better, quote unquote. The riders couldn't get used to it. Now here I go again talking about GP, so let's bring it back. Ducati has had their best year ever, apparently, right?
Yes.
It says here, in total, Ducati sold a record figure of 59,447 motorcycles to two-wheeled aficionados around the world. That's a lot of Ducati units, man. I gotta say.
And all of them are 5 figures or better, basically.
Pretty much. Like, they don't make cheap bikes. So that's a healthy amount of top-line revenue for a company that's probably pretty profitable as well for a lot of those bikes.
And they're talking that the V4 Multi and the Monsters are the ones that are pushing those figures.
Those V4 Multis are not cheap.
No.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's great to see for Ducati, because they've made really big strides in the last 10 years, man. Like, You ride a Ducati from 2011, you ride a Ducati from 2021, you're just like, this isn't even the same manufacturer. Mm-hmm. I remember I rode the Hyper Motard from 2009 for that video we made.
That looked like a death trap.
That thing was nuts. Yeah, it had the most torque of any, like, it was so insane. And then I rode the 2019 Hyper Motard. And I was like, wow, this is a good bike. I was like, it's so pulled together. It works so well. The tech is here. They've done a lot, man.
Mm-hmm. And they're saying that this is a 24% increase over their 2020 numbers. And that's back when everybody was getting, their Donnie dollars.
Yeah. It says here, though, it even outperformed pre-pandemic figures by over 12%.
Damn.
That is pretty massive. So it says here, as for revenues, Ducati has posted outstanding growth with a total of 878 million euros for 2021. This is a 30% spike from 2020, which stood at 667 million, and a 23% increase from 2019 numbers, which stood at 716 million euros. The company's profits, meanwhile, are also reported at record highs, with a 154% increase from 2020 at 61 million euros, and as again, just 24 million euros in 2020. So 61 million euros at the bottom line for Ducati.
That ain't bad.
That ain't bad. And that, I'll tell you what, a lot of those millions went to GP.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those millions.
They're like, we'll buy 8 bikes and we'll take 1 Moto E.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Each of those Ducati bikes is probably a cool million.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I think I'd be surprised if they're less than that.
Yeah.
Like, if it's less than like 2.5 for one of those bikes.
And you think about all the people that are in that program, all the people back in Italy in that program, it's pretty nuts. Yeah.
I mean, everyone on Lenovo Ducati is pulling down some big numbers.
Yeah. But I think it's great to see Ducati. I mean, not to sound like a Duca simp, but I think Ducati is a good because they're doing cool stuff. You know, they're making exciting motorcycles and they're staying true to the brand.
I think that the one thing that Ducati's missing that they'll never really bring to the table is an honest-to-God beginner bike. They have the 62, but other than that, they don't have anything for you.
I think they feel like it's going to devalue or degrade the brand somehow.
I think so, too. And they wouldn't be able to bring it in such a way that it's going to have that Ducati personality.
No.
They're going to have to mass produce it. Nothing Ducati does is mass produced.
No, yeah.
It all feels unique and bespoke.
Yeah. I feel like their best bet at that would be to I would say like package the Monster in such a way that it uses the air-cooled 803cc engine, which at this point has had the R&D paid for over and over and over again. That's a known engine, great engine, 75-ish horsepower, right? That's pretty beginner spec. That's less than the Triumph Trident, right?
Yeah.
Package that in a Monster and just sell it as like a Monster Pure, a Monster Emozione, you know?
And
something
then
like
they
that.
could slap the 400 in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would work. And I mean, people are gonna love the air cooled. I mean, you won't shut up about the air cooled Ducati.
They're great. Yeah, they're awesome.
So I think that
Old
this is
2-valve air cooled. They're great.
the Desmo timing and all that stuff. They're classics for a reason.
Yeah,
you know. And I think that's one of the things that Ducati does better than Harley Davidson is they stay true to the brand while also stepping forward.
Yes.
They're not stuck in the past.
Yeah, they're not afraid to be like, oh, we only do V-twins, so we can't ever do a V4. Like, in 2017, they're like, okay, we have to do a V4 because this isn't working anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Harley was just like, no, we got to do V-twins forever. And that's just annoying.
Yeah, and that's one thing that is keeping them afloat is just they're making shit that's just exciting.
Yeah.
Their bikes are truly exciting. They've been wild for a while, and they are staying wild.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's great to see for Ducati to be pulling down some serious bucks like that. As we mentioned before as well, they are the official supplier for the next generation Moto e-bikes, which is pretty big 180 for them because they were like, we are never investing in electric bikes ever, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're gonna build an entire race series with our electric bikes. I'm like, wait, what? Okay,
that it happened so fast too that I almost got whiplash because we talked about how they were only gonna do synth gas on a Yamcast, and then a couple weeks later, okay, Moto E.
Yeah,
but I don't know of a brand where we've heard like nothing but good news from them other than Royal Enfield.
Yeah, which we were talking about earlier. Say whatever you will about Royal Enfield, they move units.
Yeah.
Holy crap, they move bikes, you know?
And apparently so does Ducati, to a much lesser extent, but
way
still.
lesser extent. I would be interested. So for 2021, it said that Ducati sold, was it 59,000 bikes?
Yeah.
Just
like that.
Just for fun. Look up how many bikes Yamaha sold in 2021.
How many motorcycles did Yamaha sell in 2021?
For 2021, Yamaha was able to sell 4.5 million motorcycles and scooters all across the world, translating to a respectable 18% spike from 2020. Yamaha's
7.7
revenue
billion.
from selling all those bikes shot up to 7.7 billion euros. So they're about 10 times the size of Ducati.
But their bikes feel like it.
They do. Yeah.
You know?
They're very mass produced. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely feel that difference. But that volume difference is staggering. But it's also staggering that Ducati's. So if we do some math, right? They sold about 60,000 motorcycles. Yamaha sold 4.5 million. And yet their revenue was only 10x less instead of 100x less or 1,000x less. So they, bike for bike, make a lot more on a per unit basis than Yamaha. Because like you said, you're selling Multistradas, Panigales. That's a high dollar item.
Yeah, and Ducati and Yamaha's selling, little 125cc dirt bikes. They're selling little scoots.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably also selling 4-wheel and like personal watercraft and stuff.
Yeah, there ain't no Ducati jet ski yet.
Yeah. Could you imagine that?
A Desmo jet ski.
It would be like jet skis are already temperamental enough.
I know, yeah.
But man, that's pretty cool that Ducati is they're still up and to the right, and they've been up and to the right for a while now. Like they've seen stable growth for a while.
Yeah.
Because normally you think of the Italians as like they have a good year and then everything falls apart and they're like, oh shit, we got to go bankrupt again.
Yeah, no, Ducati's got the ship steered in the right direction. Yeah, they've got good leadership and it looks like they know what they're doing. And yeah, the bikes are looking better than ever. It's pretty awesome to see. All right, for our last bit of news today, because we don't really have news, we get to do a what's going on with Yam and Spite.
Yep.
Because we couldn't really find anything else really that interesting to talk about. So we'll just do a quick little what's going on with us. You just came back from Atlanta. Your maiden KLR Voyage. You accidentally did an iron butt.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
So I did 2,000 miles in 4 days.
Golden Riders are just like, pathetic. Nothing. It's nothing.
So the first day I left at I got a little bit of a late start. I left at 9:30 or 10 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, because you popped by here. And I was like, "What are you doing here?" You're like, "Oh, I forgot the attenuator for the camera." I'm like, "Dude,
yeah,
I'm so glad you remembered that."
Yeah, so I needed to get that. I needed to grab a elonginator for the wrench so that I could adjust my preload. And then I hit the road and I did 4 hours straight before stopping in Kilgore, right on the border, to start vlogging. So I basically just put down as many miles as I could before I started vlogging. And then I ended up that night in Vicksburg, right across the border from Louisiana into Mississippi.
You made it pretty far in one day.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty good. It was 500 miles in a day.
Yeah.
And only 40% of that was rain.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it rained even more. And then I had a really nice day on Thursday, which was the day that I was taking the MSF course's beginner ADV class. Yeah. Which is this program they're piloting, which I think is super duper cool for them to be doing. It felt just like a standard MSF course. Yeah. But for off-road riding, which is neat. And then the next day, I was like, oh, I need to get back and film a video on Sunday. So I need to basically put the hammer down the next 2 days. Yeah. And so in the process of putting the hammer down, the first day, I rode past too many towns that were just full. Every single hotel was full. I stopped in Ruston. I stopped in Midden. I stopped in Shreveport. Wow. I stopped in some other towns, and literally every hotel off the highway booked solid.
So at some point you were just like, I'm just going to go back home.
Yeah, so it's just like, F it. I'll ride the whole way back from Atlanta to Austin in a single day on the KLR.
God. What is the mileage total on that?
950 something, but by the end of the day I had done over 1,000.
That's a lot. I don't care what anybody says. That is what, 14 hours in the saddle, 15?
I did 16 hours in the saddle.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's like we were talking about after 6, you're like, okay, and then you're like, I have 10 more to go, you know? Yeah. You're like, all right, I'm really ready to not be riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. And so the best thing I can say about that whole experience is that the KLR did it without complaint.
Yeah.
I was really, and I said this in the vlog, I was a little bit nervous about the KLR's performance through all this.
Yeah.
It was my biggest question mark. I was like, is it going to feel like the whole time going out there? Is it just going to feel like self-flagellation? And it really didn't. It cruises fine.
Well, you also had that really neat new throttle lock that you were using. Yeah.
I was rocking this throttle lock that is just so good.
What's the company?
Atlas.
Atlas. Yeah. Atlas. We're gonna try to reach out to you guys because you bought it just to test it and we really liked it.
It's really good.
I like the way it worked too. It was really cool.
I had to buy a second one because the first one is one of the top kits.
Yeah.
And I needed the bottom kit without knowing because of where my heated grips are. And I just kept one because I'm going to put it on my KTM.
Yeah.
They're just that good. Work really, really well. And I had a windscreen the size of a boogie board.
Yeah.
On
I mean, you
bike.
have to. With a huge trip like that, you got to do that. Yeah.
And I was hauling so much stuff, too. Like, there's some photos that I put up on Instagram of the bike completely loaded down. And it literally looks like something that, like, it looks like a bike from... Especially on the way back because it was wet and covered in Georgia grime. It looked like a bike from, like, India or something.
Yeah.
Like what I imagine a bike in India, completely loaded down with stuff.
Yeah.
But it was, at the end of the day, it was fun. I will never, for the rest of my life, if I can avoid it, do an iron butt. But I will do big, long trips on the KLR again.
Yeah.
Because it just worked, and it was really fun to get out there on my bike. Mm-hmm. You know, I could have taken the class on a CRF 300 rally, one of the ones that has the big like adventure fairing on it.
Oh, they had those available?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I could have done it on that, but
I think it was cooler for you to ride your own bike there.
Yeah, and now I have the story of I rode that bike 2,000 miles in 4 days.
Yeah.
Like literally the day before I got the bike on the road, I finished the first oil change.
Yeah.
And I got about 150 miles down the road, and I realized, oh darn, my oil filter cap is leaking.
Oh.
Yeah, so I had to pull over and I had to tighten it down just a little bit. It still leaks. It's just like this little tiny leak around the edge.
Yeah.
I think I just pinched the O-ring when I was putting it back in, so I'll pop that off. I need to do another oil change anyway.
Yeah.
Because I almost did 3,000 miles on the thing. So, but it didn't consume any oil, which is cool. I was really worried about oil consumption, so I carried a whole jug of oil, and it didn't burn any.
That's insane. You had a whole jug of oil with you?
Yeah, I had a whole quart just sitting in my bag.
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned that was like a big issue on those. You're like, oh, it's going to like burn oil. I was like, it's a brand new bike. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know if it really was going to do that, you know?
I also kept it below 5,000 RPM.
Yeah.
So that helped.
Well, Redline's at 55 or something, right?
I think it Redline's at 6.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Let me think of what's going on with me, man. Honestly, right now, my brain is just in Honda Hornet heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H, you know?
Yup.
Feeling good. That bike came together so beautifully.
It really did.
You guys are going to see the video. That camera's dead now, so I'm going to look over here. You guys are going to see the video. I just can't believe what, like, dedication, a little bit of time, a lot of money. It really came together, man. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool.
And to look at it now, you wouldn't know that it has 63,000 miles on the clock.
No chance. It looks maybe 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the tank alone is factory fresh.
It just looks so nice. Yeah.
So
I'm thinking about the Hornets. Loving my Husky. We were out riding yesterday for another video that's coming out.
Yep.
That bike is just so friggin' good. I got the new tires on there. I got
After
the
you
park
stripped
busters.
the heck out of the shift lever yesterday.
I didn't strip it. The previous owner did. Because when I got the lever off the first time, I already noticed. I'm like, I was like, this is not looking that right. That was not me. I just want to put that out there. I did not strip that. Come on. I did not strip the shift lever. But, yeah, I had to call an audible there where we get out to film the video, and I'm just, like, doing wheelies, dicking around. I go to put it in first, and the shift lever just goes, and I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I hear from, like, halfway across the field, we might have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had to run out to the dealership, get another shift lever, come back on location, fit it back up, and it worked after that. That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
But that bike is just... Every bike I own is like some temperamental piece of garbage in its own way, you know? There's no motorcycle, except the Desert Sled. The Desert Sled is just a nice, good bike. There's nothing weird or wrong with it. It's never done anything weird or wrong either, no matter how much abuse I put through it. It's always just, it gets up, turns on, does what it needs to do. Nothing weird. Every other bike I own is a total temperamental piece of garbage. The Turbo Busa finally is good, but it is still a temperamental piece of shit. The Husky is like the slave cylinder goes out. The shift lever shears off. The hand guards apparently were like a giant pain in the ass to install. I had TJ's do it because I needed the new tires to go on too. And I was like, I felt like such an asshole, but I was like, hey, can you guys put these hand guards on my bike? Because I was like, I don't feel like doing it. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then they call me and they're like, yeah, like we had to do like a bunch of like weird like get them to work. And I'm like, I am so glad you did that and not me. So I was really happy about that. The shift lever broke, like I said. It doesn't want to start up lately. Remember how hard it was to start?
Yeah.
When it's cold, it's just like, no. I'm like, come on. Like you got to sit there, rev it, get it warm, and then it goes. But when it goes, when it goes, it's good. They change the oil every 400 miles or whatever, but it's fine.
Really?
Nah, it's something ridiculous, but the maintenance intervals are tight. They're real tight.
Damn.
Yeah. It's like, I think just about every 1,000 miles you have to do something.
Because I could run the KLR with the oil that's in it for probably the next 50,000 miles and it would be fine.
Yeah. However, KLR performance, 501 performance.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So...
I mean, you can go wherever you want. I will get there eventually. Just with much less style.
Yeah. I get to it style, like wheeling and jumping, and I just have so much confidence. But yeah, I got to pay for it later because my slave cylinder breaks or whatever else. But yeah, that bike's been a lot of fun lately. I'm honestly really dying to get some new rubber on my Daytona and go rip it at the track. I was up this weekend at ECR with the ZX6 and that race prepped RSV4, which was... biblical what that thing did on the straights. It hit $160 on ECR. I was like, whoa, this is fast. It was the type of bike where you go to grab the brakes at your normal braking zone and you're like, I'm not going to make it. You're like, I'm not going to make it. And then you realize that you're like riding at like 20% of what it can do. And you're like, I'm definitely going to make it. But there's that split second where you're like, holy crap, it just picked up so much speed. I don't know if I can scrub it all off, you know? But I am really dying to ride my Daytona. It's been a long time since I've ridden my Daytona. I haven't ridden it all year.
Yeah, I feel like it's just been sitting in the back gathering dust.
Yeah, I know. I'm dying to ride it, but our schedule lately with content's been so insane.
It has been wild.
It's been just like bang, 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 and and between that and like me getting married and stuff and all this other stuff in my life, I'm like, when the am I gonna have time to go up to Saturday to go ride at the track with just my Daytona? I have to go up there for a video. It has to be worth something, you know. So it's been a little crazy for me in my motorcycling life. But speaking of which, let us move on to the DM portion of the podcast where we're going to learn about your motorcycling life and what you do on the week-to-week and what you do with your bikes. Let's get into it. All right, folks, welcome to the DM portion of the podcast. You guys over on Discord know the drill, but for those of you at home, what we're doing here today is the boys over on Discord are going to send us a DM. We're going to read it out here on the Yamcast, and if you want the chance to be able to do that, you got to join over on yamanube.co, join our Discord server. It is a ton of fun. You will not regret it. It is one of my favorite parts about anything we do here. I literally check it many, many times a day, dropping photos, interacting with people, doing random posts, replying to people randomly and just like antagonizing them for no reason. I'm like a little gremlin just on the Discord, just bothering people. It's a lot of fun. So this week we are talking about the type of riding that you do week in and week out. I want to know, how do you use your motorcycle? Are you commuting with it? Are you doing track days with it? What kind of riding are you doing? And for those of you at home, please send Spite a DM on Discord, and we will try to read your comment on the air. Let's start off with ourselves as the boys here are chiming in. How does your riding look week in and week out? I feel like our answers are a little bit jaded because we do so much for work, right?
Yeah.
Like we ride a lot for work.
That's one thing that has changed a lot is I ride way more than I used to.
Yeah.
I spend a lot more time on a motorcycle, usually like 3 to 5 days a week now I'm on a bike. But a lot of it's like shorter stints because we're out riding for videos. Now, when I go ride for myself, it's an all-day thing.
Yeah.
Like, I go out on a Saturday and I will ride, from like 9 in the morning to 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Just riding through the hills. And I'm usually doing that with my riding buddies. So that's a group of 3 to 10 guys.
Yeah.
So, but it's always just goofing around on the street. I'd really like to spend a lot more time off-road now that I have the KLR.
Yeah.
But that's a commitment with that bike. So I got to load it up and do a whole bunch of stuff. But eventually it's going to I'd like to divide my time like 60-40 SMCR to KLR.
Yeah.
I still need goofy, supermoto time.
Yeah, totally fair.
But it's a little bit wonky now that I use motorcycles as a method of making money.
Yeah. Before you started working here, did you used to commute to work on a bike or no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you would ride morning and afternoon on the bike, right?
Yep. And then sometimes I would take the long way home and just ride through the twisties, just goof around. But yeah, I still sometimes commute here, but I oftentimes will just ride in the car.
Yeah, for me, I used to ride up here to the office more than I do nowadays. I drive my truck almost every day. It's just easier if I got to bring stuff or do something, and I almost always do have to do something or bring something it's just easier. Also for me, because like you said, we ride for the videos, most of the times I'd come in to work here with my truck, and then I will gear up here and leave with the bike, make a video, come back, and I kind of just want to be in the truck to go home. I don't also want to ride home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, my riding's changed a lot week to week as well. Like when I was younger with my Daytona, I'd ride it to work, I'd ride it back from work, I'd ride it on weekends, I'd ride it after work, like all the time. But yeah, I just feel like there's other things I want to do now. You know? Yeah. All right, let's get into what the Discord boys are using their bikes for. Wow, we have a lot of DMs.
Lot of
Holy
people
crap. Okay,
in.
let's go quick.
All right, first up we got Wyatt.
All right, Wyatt says, once the weather gets consistently nice, I'm going to ride the XR 1200X to work as much as I can, ride with my buddy on the weekends, ride with my dad on weekends, ride to breakfast before work, just basically ride as much as I can. I love it.
New bike life.
New bike life, yeah. Whenever you get that new bike, you want to put as many miles on it as you can. You find any reason for it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Alex Zunga.
Alex Zunga says, hey, Spite, my weekly riding consists mostly of commuting to and from classes. I go to KU, Kansas, which absolutely sucks at 8 a.m. when it's colder than a witch's tit outside. I use a 2009 BMW G650X Country to commute, and it has never let me down. When the weather is nice, I have a 2008 Triumph Daytona 675 that I use for fun riding and I will be taking to the track this summer. A lot of commuters. I think a lot of guys commuting for school too, which I see a lot in our Discord.
Yeah, it's easy to just dump one of those bikes on campus.
Yes.
I contemplated the idea of getting a moped or something when I was up in Madison, but then I was like, it's Madison. It's going to be frozen from October to May.
It's not going to work.
So I could get a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got LakeSpeed.
LakeSpeed just says, do an Ovale giveaway, LOL. He did not read the assignment.
Nope,
he did not.
Full Metal Corgi.
Full Metal Corgi here. My weekly riding. Fixing the next thing that breaks on my POS Turbo Busa. So Full Metal Corgi is our one and only and possibly ever fellow Turbo Busa boy on the server. Which
How is that possible that there's only one?
They're like a seclusive or reclusive breed, like they hide in the bushes and stuff. That's why all the Turbo Busa videos online are like potato quality, They're a weird breed. But yeah, I understand that life.
Next up, we've got Cali Bike.
Cali Bike here says, I used to just ride weekend/off-road, but the current gas prices have me riding to school/work every day. 1995 KTM 620 EXC and 2016 Cowie Z125. The Z125 is going to be a fuel sipper, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's probably rocking the Z125 with the freaking 620 EXC. That thing's got to be a temperamental little...
Yeah, no doubt. A 1995 KTM?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Okay, next up we've got Orange.
Orange 990. I work in a rural area and I have to travel between 3 properties during the day. I have a very flexible schedule, so most days I can fit in an hour and a half screw around off-road session in the local dirt. Sunday is my one day off and I typically try to hit as much new terrain as I can within a half-day ride. I've been able to fit in a few longer moto camping trips in the summer, but it's something I'd like to do more of. The 990 Adventure makes anything fun, so I use it for any task that doesn't absolutely require my pickup. Yeah, it's like that ADV bike life, man. You just ride the bike you got, take it to the trails, take it on road, just take it everywhere. Yeah.
That's something I'd really like to do is moto camping.
Yeah.
Just I've got the bike for it now, and
you have the perfect bike for
crap, So
that Nelson rig bag we got you for that KLR is insane. It is so big.
Yeah.
You can fit anything in there.
Mm-hmm. I have.
Yeah.
It is super useful. Next up, we've got Infernal Saxon.
Infernal Saxon says, my Scout is a commuter for most of the time I ride, occasionally used as a library hauler with Dragons or Dungeons & Dragons, and you are right about the Atlas Throttle Lock, lifesaver on long trips. Also a fellow Atlas Throttle Lock user. That's cool.
Enlightened.
Yeah. That's funny as a library hauler for a D&D session.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of commuters here. It's funny for me because I stopped commuting with the motorcycle well over 5 years ago. And I don't really consider what I do now like work and commuting. You know, I'm not showing up 9 to 5 Monday through Friday at the office or something. And I could ride up here, but I don't know. I've just transitioned to truck life now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's partially because we live in Austin and we ride bikes for work in the punishing part of the summer.
Yeah.
So we can appreciate some downtime off the bike. You know, maybe if it was like 80 degrees every day, then it would be really easy to just hop on the bike all the time.
I think for me as well, though, I've just come to be a bit bored of street riding too.
Yeah,
true. I don't want to sound like a dick, but it just doesn't interest me as much as it used to. And I like to spend high quality riding time. Like I like going to the track or going to the trails or going to the motocross track. It doesn't, and I ride on the street so much for work stuff that it doesn't really make me that excited to. I don't feel the need to just go out and hit twisties on my bike anymore. Honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't challenge or excite really.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Turbo Dreaming.
Turbo Dreaming says, couple days a week commuting, and then it's just playing in the woods. KLX 300. Hell yeah,
nice.
That's awesome. That's the way to go. Yeah.
I love that KLX 300 has made dual sports and supermotos a lot more accessible.
A lot of people are talking about them. I think Yamaha made a big dumb move by removing the WR from their lineup or not updating it.
Yeah, and I think the KLX is nice because it's got a lower seat height. It's a
more
more
approachable.
accessible bike. Which is super cool. Next up, the Chazen.
The Chanzen or the Chazen? I think it's the Chanson. My weekly rides basically looking like Saturday or Sunday if I can swing it, ride to the trails and putt around for a few hours. Once a week, ride 60 miles round trip to the office on the Trail 125 with the Aerostitch onesie. And on my work from home days, sneak out whenever I can on my lunch break and just ride aimlessly for 45 minutes. This man, the 125 simping never ends.
He is so committed to the 125 life.
The Trail 125. He firmly believes it's the greatest motorcycle ever created.
He's firmly wrong, but
he is. I'm like, just ride a dual sport. It'll be better. But that sounds fun. A lot of riding in there.
Next up, we got Cyborg Hawk 247.
Cyborg Hawk 247, who is actually the winner of our Honda Fireblade, says, mostly cruising through the countryside if I am late for something.
How are you ever late on the Fireblade?
Oh, no, he says, mostly cruising through the countryside and if I am ever late for something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't be late on a Fireblade.
Next up, Beanball Sub.
Beanball Sub. Great name. It says, rain. It's just been rain. But I commute and light trails on my Zvart 701. And then he linked us something and he said, but new daily, ? LOL.
Trike with front wheel drive. Do we want to click in and see what this abomination is?
It's a random Craigslist find. I don't think we have the time for it, honestly. We got to get to all these other folks. We might check it out later, Beanball. I'm so sorry.
All right, next up we got Basil.
Basil says, so my riding changed. I'm looking for not avoiding every dirt road I can find. Oh, sorry. There was a message before that. After being dunked on by this channel for the last couple of years, I finally decided to sell my beloved Vulcan 650S.
We saved him.
Spite will be so proud I moved into a Pan America 1250S. Thank you for the
Nice.
content. So my riding changed. I'm looking for not avoiding every dirt road I can find. Nice. That's a stratospheric upgrade.
Yeah.
Vulcan 650 to Pan Am. Nice.
You can actually have fun now.
Yeah. We're so cruel to them. Just the wretched Cowie boys that we just dunk on. I'm so sorry.
Next up, we got X2.
X2 says, I got rid of my car last year in April, and I've been using my motorcycles for pretty much everything. Thankfully, I've been working from home, so most of my commuting takes place to and from canyons, OHVs, tracks, high-level riding, or go hang out with friends. I don't plan on buying a car anytime soon. I do have to walk for certain things like doing laundry, but it's a good change of pace, honestly, and I need to live in a decent city for walking. That's great, man. This man is committed. No car life.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
Pretty crazy for an American person to
And
be
he
no
doesn't
car.
even have a KLR with a milk crate.
No, I think he's got a KLX 250 and then another bike. I think a Svarpillen or something.
Yep.
But yeah, he's been posting up on Track Days channel and Mountain Boys channel. This man's always out there, trails, tracks, mini motos. He's gonna outpace us all.
Damn.
He's practicing.
Next up, we've got CJ Hawk 922.
All right, CJ Hawk. I ride an Aprilia RS660. Nice. That's a
Good
great
choice.
motorcycle. Just mainly cruising until I have a tracksuit. I work from home and my hours are flexible, so whenever I need throttle therapy, I just grab the helmet and jacket. Short town cruises if the boys just want to flex downtown, or longer saddle sessions if we're hitting the country twisties away from civilizations. A couple of the R1s in the group scream, so we try to keep away from the kids' playgrounds and dogs in the yard and whatnot. Speaking of, I just got the bike a month ago. I added a Puig windscreen, tank grips, and a fender eliminator. Waiting on the SC project to come in the shop and retuning with a ready bike. Am I missing any key upgrades? Weighted bar ends, maybe? Question mark. Honestly, did he mention? Oh, he said tank grips. Yeah. No, not that. That bike is just ready to go from the box, dude.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah. I saw a guy riding an R660 here the other day. I was on my Husky. It sounded nice. He had a pipe on it.
I got passed by one on the highway when I was
Yeah.
cruising, and he had a big tail bag on because you can pop the back seat off, and it's just got a rack.
Yeah.
Because there's nice bikes.
It's a nice bike. Yeah. I love that one.
Nice. Next up, ICA Jeweler.
ICA Jeweler says, I mostly commute, but I get to commute on one of the more twisty roads in the area. North Carolina roads are always fantastic for the most part. I either go full send on the R3 or I'm being a hoonigan on the CB1000R. There is no middle. If the weekend is nice, I am burning tanks up of fuel on the Blue Ridge riding, the Snake, or lapping 181. That is, if I'm not at the track for the weekend. P.S. Just for reference, my commute is 6 miles, one road, no traffic lights. I know that'll make a lot of people jealous. Also, I don't own a car, just an F350 for my RV since full time. Wow, that is a nice commute. One road, no traffic lights, 6 miles.
That is great.
That's real nice.
Yeah. If only there was anything like that in Texas.
Yeah, no.
Next up, Loop TJ.
Loop TJ says, I try to go to a track day once a month or so. Otherwise, it's weekend twisty rides on my XSR 900. Would like to try some dirt/fly roads this year. Maybe rent something. If the fly roads aren't that tough, I would say just take the XSR.
Yeah, I mean, it could probably do it.
Probably do it.
You might want to put something other than just like normal street tire on it.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Just do it.
The Gixxer 250 did climb a hill on RS10s.
Yep.
So,
granted, the fact that it had so low power made it easier, I think,
Yeah.
to climb those hills. But yeah. And once we put the TKC 80s on that bad boy, it was climbing anything. Do you remember how it was at Bastrop?
yeah.
Remember, you're like, what is this?
And it like, I threw my leg over it. It just felt so borked, but it worked.
It just worked.
Oh, I hate that motorcycle.
Yeah, it's going to meet its untimely end very soon.
Or timely, depending on
Timely,
how you look
that's
at
true, yeah.
it. New Scoot Goofin.
New Scoot Goofin says, recently bought a Vespa 300 GTS after selling my XSR 700 a few months ago. Worst trade deal of all
Ever.
time. What? Okay, while I was living in Boston, terrible motorcycle city, my daily ride is commuting grocery runs as well as exploring the new cities I travel to for work. The Vespa is easy to load up on the hitch of my F250 and saving me hundreds of dollars in gas alone. Never thought I'd enjoy riding a scooter this much. Having previously owned the XSR and a Victory Octane before that, but here we are. Definitely recommend try one out. I will say, I've ridden many scooters. They are fun. because they're so low stakes, and you're just like sitting in a chair. You're just like, wow, look, this is ridiculous, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
giving up a motorcycle for a
giving
scooter?
up a motorcycle, though, I don't know about that.
I don't think I could do it.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Next up, we've got Braden Cousino.
Cousino says, weekends consist of trying to put down as many noob hours on the bike as possible. Bought the same blue 2018 SV650 you guys had for an earlier giveaway bike way back when. Never been on a bike before last November. Learning lots, having more fun than I ever had with another hobby. It was a long winter up here in Wisconsin, but it's finally getting warmer. The first time I was out for a long ride, I pulled up next to a school bus. Who am I to deny the kids a rev bomb? Next intersection, the guy ripped a fat nooner on an MT-09. Damn, bikes are awesome.
Yep.
I really still believe this, that people who just get into motorcycling are the guys putting down the most amount of miles.
Yes.
You know, because you're out there every day, nonstop, trying to get those miles in, you know, get those hours in.
I mean, it's just so new and everything's like awesome.
Yeah, everything's awesome. Yeah.
You're experiencing everything completely, even the same roads.
Yeah.
They might be kind of boring roads, but if they're on a bike and it's your first time out there, you're like, yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got VTX Extravaganza.
VTX Extravaganza says, as much as I'd like to commute on the VTX, I work 60 miles away and leave at 3 a.m., so it's unless it's 60 degrees when I leave, it doesn't happen. Mostly I ride for a while after I get home from work and on weekends with my brother and his street glide. Occasionally I do a road trip up to my buddy's home in northern Kentucky and spend the weekend riding with him and his FTR. As much as I'd like to commute on the VTX, it's the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, some people clowned on me on my ZX6 video where I was like, if it's under 55, I don't ride. It's not worth it. Especially because here in Texas, if you wait a day, it'll be 10 degrees warmer. It'll be 20 degrees warmer. Just wait. But I think some people living up in the north, they aren't as lucky. They got to take those warm days when they get them, you know?
Yeah, there are days when we can just be like, nah, pass. I also won't ride even for fun when it's like 110 out.
I
just
won't
pass.
I won't be
It's
outside.
like,
Yeah, those kind of days I will get up really early and go ride, and then by the time it's 11, I'm back inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Comrade Caddy.
Comrade Caddy says, hey man, new rider as of last fall, and inflation of all things inspired me to ride. Now I ride everywhere. I sold my car and it's raining. I Uber. My Benelli TNT 300 is slow as and no one wants to steal, so great bike for the city. Will Yam buy my Benelli and make some bike memes? No, the Benelli's too nice for bike memes, man. They make some pretty decent bikes nowadays. I need to buy one of those like Chinese crate motors, or crate bikes, like the Venom or some of those other random things.
Those things
or
are
like
truly
that thing
awful.
we saw that had like it was a sport bike but it had 2 rear shocks and like
scooter engine.
The scooter engine. I was like, what is going on with this thing?
It was like a Ninja 300 and a scooter got busy.
It was abhorrent.
Yeah,
abhorrent.
No, it was disgusting. Phantom 10792.
All right, Phantom 10792 says, my week has been commuting to work, mostly highway and traffic, even when the temperature is 32 degrees or 0 degrees Celsius.
Damn,
that is commitment. No chance will you catch me on a bike at those. No chance, dude. No chance. I despise the cold. Hate it.
Yeah, I moved down here specifically to avoid it.
Yeah.
Magic Toaster.
Magic Toaster says, I'm going to use my bike to go everywhere and save on gas whenever it warms up in Chicago. Also going to race the Energica against Corgi's Turbo Busa and Cyberhawk's Fireblade this summer. We will get video. I would love to see that video because you will get obliterated.
Yes, absolutely obliterated.
The Fireblade is so fast. It is so fast. Yeah, no chance. Maybe off the line if you're lucky.
We still have the stacks for the blade in the back.
Yeah, we can help him out.
Yep.
We can be like, you can need these 2 extra horsepower. God, that bike was insane.
It's like terrifying how fast it was.
Yeah. That RS-V4 I rode at ECR was faster.
Holy
dude, it was crazy. You're going to see the video on track. It was nuts. Oh my God, it was nuts.
Yeah. Captain Slow Brew.
Captain Slow Brew, weekly riding, rain or shine, every day, city commuting with the Duke 390. Looking at a dual sport to urban squid so I don't destroy the Duke. I think dual sports are awesome city bikes.
But dude, the Duke 390 is basically like a little supermoto.
Pretty much,
I mean,
yeah.
You're not going to destroy the Duke.
Oh, that little bike is so fun.
Yeah, you can treat it with wanton abandon. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
I remember skidding the rear wheel around in the supermoto mode.
Yeah.
Another one where he's riding regardless on the little beginner bike.
Yep. I think there's a lot of people who are riding regardless of weather, rain, snow, shine, the everyday rider, you know?
Yup. Next up, we've got Prez.
I know I have 2 Suzuki sport bikes, a 2018 SV650 and a 2002 Gixxer 600. Can I officially say I'm a Suzuki simp? I ride whenever I have free time, like every moment, even when it's cold. I would say you're definitely Suzuki simp. You're definitely in like the Josh category of Suzuki simp, you know?
Yeah.
Multiple Suzukis by choice, you know? Both Suzukis I own were not really by choice. I would like to point that out.
Well, I mean, the Turbo Busa has now become your choice.
Yes, it has.
But I think the Gixxer 600, like once you own a Gixxer 600, you basically have to go in for your Suzuki tattoo.
Yeah, that's it. It's game over.
Yep.
It's game over.
Next up, we got Goat Roper.
Goat Roper. I keep the bike at the track, so my riding involves going to the paddock. Make as many circles around ECR as I can in 30 minutes, go back to the garage, bitch about the session for 30 minutes, then go back to step 1. Yep, I lived that life many times as well. So I guess track day only, bro. He's over here.
I think that's another level of commitment.
It is.
To being only the track day bro.
Yeah. It's a big commitment. Financially, emotionally, mentally. It's a big commitment. Yeah.
Next, LakeSpeed.
LakeSpeed said, since I now understand the assignment, I rode my stock R6 on the street for 1 year after getting many tickets and having to walk with the cane after an hour-long ride. I decided to make it a dedicated track bike. Nice. Love to hear that. That's where those bikes belong, man.
100%.
That's where they belong.
We've ridden an R6 around now like 2 or 3 times, and it's just abysmal on the street.
Yeah, you're just like, why would you have this?
Yeah. gopherjoe is next.
gopherjoe here says, started riding because my daughter made me, but now as long as the weather isn't below 40 degrees and has less than 60% chance of rain, I'll throw on the backpack and ride to work night or day. Otherwise, my daughter still makes me ride. My rides are her rides. Well, that's cute. He's got her on the back. What bike is that?
Looks like a CB300?
CB300, yeah.
One pipe.
Yep. Nice.
Good little beginner bike.
It's great. I think we got time for one more. I think Captain, that guy maybe?
He already got in.
All right, I think we got in. I think we are done for the DM session, which is great. Thanks so much for everybody for submitting. We had a lot of fun reading them. Remember, if you want to join the Yamcast live and send us fun stuff, join over on yamanoob.co. Now we're going to move on to reading some ridiculous comments that people found for us.
Yep.
As if I have not read enough already.
Got to watch some more.
All right, folks, welcome to the final section here on the Yamcast. Normally, it's a meme contest. Today, we're looking at some ridiculous YouTube comments that we received as curated by our Discord boys, because Lord knows we are not going in there to go find them.
No, I feel like we got to get into a suit with like gloves and a respirator
Yeah,
sometimes.
that way lies ruin to go down into that dungeon. We will not be doing that. So first up here, Alex Zuga. Someone said, that Turbusi, though. And that just makes me hate everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Everyone's putting that ussy at the end of anything, and it's just really, it's just gross. I don't know. There's no other way to put it. It's just kind of weird and gross. Yeah, it leaves a weird feeling in my throat.
Next up, we have another one from Alex Zuga.
Alex Zuga here. Another person said, where did you get the intro piano riff? Tell me.
All caps, very angry.
Yeah. Where did I get that riff? It's got to be Bach, because I've always chosen Bach piano for the riffs.
Yeah. Because I know one of them is the Partita No. 2, but that's not the one that we normally use.
That's the old one.
Yeah.
That's the original Yamanoob one. That's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That's the old one. The new one we use, I don't remember where it's from, honestly.
Me either. I can hear it in my brain.
Yeah, me too. It's such a nice little sound tag. I like it.
Yep. Next up. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is, I've told you guys before that people leave dissertations. This is amazing. Are you ready for this?
Here we go.
Y'all take this way too seriously. Imagine writing out a 5-point dissertation. God damn. All right. Let's read this. says, why thank you, Mr. Noob, for parroting once again all the classic misconceptions about Harley riders. Let me help you out here. Number 1, yes, there are a small subgroup that do the bar hop scene, misspelt, but you're just as likely to find them on a sport bike as well. Darwinism usually corrects their behavior, so many spelling errors, and the vast majority of Harley rides are against such bad behavior. Number 2, a Sportster, when it first came out, was made for the dirt track racing, 1957, and it quickly got the name the Felony Flyer. I want to point something out here, guys, before I continue reading this. If you leave me a comment like this, I read the first 4 words and I skip. I never, ever, ever read comments that are this long. I'm just putting, if you want me to read something, unless you're on Discord, and maybe even if you're on Discord, I might not read all this, honestly.
This is a lot.
Yeah, it reminds me of that meme where the guy's like, I ain't reading all that. I'm glad it happened, or I'm sorry it did.
I love that. That should be just like
perfect.
an auto reply.
It's perfect. Just like, I ain't reading all that. All right, as they could outrun the cop cars of the day, that was a long time ago. While it was no longer a fast sport bike by today's standards, it became the entry-level bike for Harleys for decades. The reason it got the name girls' bike is twofold. One, when your girlfriend/wife would ask you for their own bike, well, it was the one you could got for cheap, and so you'd go out and try to see what it would like, and so you wouldn't gain a $20,000 paperweight. Second, as we like to go on long rides, the Sportster had a small tank. That means more stops for fuel, so if your friend is on one, you grab them with the girls' bike to get them a bigger bike. Number 3, yes, we see these guys with 5-year-old bikes and they're just doing a 1,000-mile service. We don't get it either, quite frankly. I guess it's the same guy who buys a sports car and just lets it sit in the garage and makes vroom vroom sounds like he's driving it. Number 4, lastly, as an officer in one of the largest motorcycle clubs in the world, Harley Owners Group. Oh, yeah.
Every Harley owner is in the hog, guy. It's not a club.
It's not a club. I can assure you that one of our international bylaws states that anyone on a street-legal motorcycle is welcome to ride with us. That is the whole point of HOG, to get Harley riders out on the road to be seen, to welcome riders from other brands, to show that our bikes are fun and reliable. That's not true at all. To dispel the myth that we are somehow elitist and look down on those who ride other brands. I don't think it's that Harley riders are elitist, it's that they're sometimes too dumb to know that there's other bikes out there, if I'm just being completely honest. It's not elitist. It's just like, well, you're just dumb and you don't know there's other bikes. You know, I have ridden Yamaha, Suzuki's, Hondas, and even a Cafe Bull Taco at one point, but now I ride Harleys, and I can tell you, once you ride one, you will never look at a motorcycle the same again. You know, it's funny. I have ridden a Harley, and I don't look at bikes the same way again, but not in the same way that this guy thinks.
No, you're like, oh, damn, I really appreciate the things I have.
Exactly, yeah. Every Harley I ride, it's just like a nice palate cleanser for me. Like, oh, my bikes are great. This is awesome. Jesus Christ, man.
I honestly don't. I'm trying to think of the last time I wrote a dig on Harleys, and I think it must have been in the Lazy Cafe Racer video.
This comment, it says in I think Italian up there, 5 anni fa, which is 5 years ago. This comment, it's very old. So it must be on a super old Harley video that I made from way back in the day.
Man, somebody's really going through the freaking tomes here.
Yeah, I hate people who can't take themselves like as a joke or take themselves way too seriously. Write a huge thing like this. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
my guy,
this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Magic Toaster with a smattering.
All right, Magic Toaster here. His own comment says, still weak compared to Energica. And then some other guy, here it comes. I do think y'all will like the 2022 Energica Ego or Rebelle. Quick hits, 140 miles of range, 70 miles per hour, blah, blah, blah. 80, yeah, just electric bike simping. Yami used to get his hands on an Energica Rebelle. As far as the price on these goes, wait another 4 to 5 years. Energica simping. This guy says, I will stick with an ICE engine. F all these electric things, and sound alone an ICE engine is worth the price of admission. As nice as these are, I will pass. Another guy says, this is not better than the Energica. This guy says, imagine buying this over a V4 or Energica. Yikes. Next time, ride an Energica. That's even better. So it seems like Magic Toaster isn't this one-off Energica guy. It seems like all Energica guys are insufferable. Is that fair?
That seems how that's what this is.
Oh my god.
The thing is though, is I've ridden an Energica.
Yeah.
And they're fine.
You can't. No, they have to be amazing.
They're like
you can't say that.
They're the cool. They do the cool thing with the lightning or the heartbeat, the EKG deal when you turn it on. But
you know what else does that? The live wire at the stop when it was like,
it had the little heartbeat thing.
It was weird.
But I don't know, something about the live wire. It just like actually felt like a good motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying I won't ride an Energica. We have a dealership just south of us here that has them. I could probably swing it to grab one, but I bet I'll walk away from it feeling very just like meh.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Next up is Millennial Malaise.
Oh, here we go. Millennial Malaise's comment says, no need to hate the Versus. It's very similar to the V-Strom. It's very reliable, and with the right Farkles, it can do some off-road work. The motor is way better than the KLR 650 Thumper. It also is way more fun to ride than a Harley. Oh, is that like himself being like, oh, got him?
Yeah, it must be.
That's so lame. I honestly don't know if the motor's better than a KLR.
I don't either. And I know that's biased because I own one.
Yeah.
But at least the KLR motor has some personality to it.
I think the problem with the Versus, we said, is just beige, you know?
Yeah.
I also don't think it's that similar to the V-Strom. I think the V-Strom's got a way more peppy, interesting engine.
It's got the V-twin.
Yeah, it's got a V-twin. It's kind of cool.
That's just better.
Yeah.
Way more fun to ride. This must be because I was riding the Harley in this video.
No, the Pan Am was way more fun.
Oh, yeah.
I rode the Pan Am a little bit. It was way more fun.
Next up is, I think, another one from Millennial Malaise. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go.
Oh, this is going to be... I love whenever a comment says, so let me get this straight. It's like, oh, here we go. This guy says, and we unfortunately did not remove his username, but it says, so let me get this straight. All your criticisms very much go like, the engine sucks, but it doesn't for what it's meant to do. The looks suck, but they don't, not really. The handling sucks, but they are great for those that it is designed for. The present sucks compared to a bike you cannot even get in America. It is cheap, but rather inexpensive and actually quite loaded. It sounds like a lawnmower, but so do all other twins, and by the way, it is an indestructible lawnmower, etc., etc. I definitely did not say that. Did I miss something else? ? You know, I drive a Honda minivan.
Of course you do, Mr. Versus Man.
2, in fact. And I have friends who give me because they drive the likes of Honda Type R, etc. But I notice every time we go out on a town on a trip, I'm the one who's driving them because you're being cucked. And not because of space, but for any trip over 4 hours, yeah. I also have... for years, a Porsche, which I absolutely love to drive occasionally, given that I had to change the battery once a year because I didn't drive it all that often. But whenever I did drive it, I loved it for what it was and what it did. And I remember one time racing a guy in a Corvette on a long, slightly twisty highway doing 120 until I noticed a first-generation Chrysler minivan with the fake wood on the side keeping right up with us. Yeah, that is what's called perspective. There's so many things to unpack here. I think... that's probably because you're not that fast of a driver, if anything else. Like, on public roads, like, anything can keep up, bro, because you're not driving at the limit. Also, cars. Why are you talking about cars on my goddamn motorcycle YouTube channel? I don't give a about your minivan. Shut the up.
Dude, he's got 2 minivans,
He's got 2 minivans. You got 8 wheels, boy. I do understand how fun it is to beat up on the small kid in the schoolyard. Oh, no. But maybe you should grow the up and do your jobs, which, just in case you keep forgetting, is to give encouragement to people who don't ride, help those who do want to ride, and steer those who do ride, not on your own uninformed prejudices, but on what the gear is designed for, how well it executes the design, and who would benefit from it.
Nobody benefits from the Versus 650.
Oh, this is the best part. Or maybe I'm wrong and actually you do think that everyone who doesn't ride a Turbo Busa should be looked down upon.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God. Dude, my guy, you've missed the point of everything. You've literally missed the point of everything. Do you honestly think that the guy, me, I own a dirt bike, a race bike, like all these fun bikes. You really think I give if you own a Turbo Boost or not? I own it as a joke, dude.
You had to get one.
I had to get one. I promised everyone. I didn't want it. There were so many moments in that bike where I was like, I hope someone just steals it. I don't want it anymore. God. I love how he tells us what our job is.
Yeah.
Like, we make if I may preface, we make free entertainment on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, what do we mail this guy's refund? Right? Because he clearly didn't like the content.
Yeah.
We got to mail his refund out to him.
We're going to give him sands for an hourglass.
Wind back the clock, my friend.
Let's go into what he thinks we said. The engine sucks, but it doesn't for what it's meant to do.
No, I just said it sucked and I didn't like it. That's all I said about it.
Yeah, it's a perfectly functional engine, but it's like, so is the one in a Vespa. It's still not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
The looks suck, but they don't, not really. Yeah, they do suck. They're kind of plain and ninja-y.
Yeah, the present sucks compared to a bike you cannot even get in America. No, compared to like any other like sport touring bike, I think the look is kind of nerdy.
I'd rather have the Tracer 9.
Yeah, looks way cool. The Tracer 7 too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the bike you're saying you can't get in America. Yeah, just get a Tracer 9. Yeah. Oh, it's a little more expensive. Oh, you don't have $2,000 more if you're getting a loan out on a bike. I don't know. For me, not to sound elitist, but like the thing that bothers me sometimes, it's like, oh, but I got it for $6,000 instead of $8,000 that the Tracer costs or whatever. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is $2,000 on a note on a bike? You know, what's the big deal, right?
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah. The whole bit about the car thing and the minivans is just a meme in of itself. I really want to make a copy pasta out of this.
Yeah.
You know, I drive a Honda minivan. Like, you cannot start a sentence like that and make me not want to make fun of you. Come on.
I have to hope that this is not taken seriously. Like, this is a copy pasta.
No, dude. Like, the way this is, this is a genuine, like, comment. Dude, there's no way. Like, this is a real deal comment.
This is painful.
Yeah, this is rough. In case anyone's curious of what the job is here, yes, we're trying to get people to ride more and be on two wheels. That's definitely what we do. But at the end of the day, we make edutainment. We educate and entertain. If we were to make a dry, boring video about the Versa 650 and how it's designed to do, nobody'd friggin' watch, dude. And that's just boring. And we're not boring like the Versa 650. End scene.
Have some pride.
End scene. My God. Thank you, Millennial Malays. We need to see that. Wyatt here. I am assuming this doesn't apply to BMW riders because we know how much you like to trash us and the motorcycles we choose to own. I do. I'm just going to assume this is for the Japanese motorcycle riders and the few Euro brand riders that you recently decided to stop trashing. Moving on with the little walking emoji. Yeah, just another hurt BMW boy.
I mean, BMWs they're so plain.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like if the Versa 650 decided to start an entire manufacturer.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh man, one of my buddies is a wild German dude. And he will not shut up about how great the GS is and the GS motor and how the Boxer is so good. He will not shut up. And I'm like, dude, Norbert, I don't care. It's like, I know you like it because you're German and your jacket says Polizei on the back of it, but it's so boring.
Yeah, it's... it's rough when another motorcyclist is like, please stop talking. Please. Imagine his wife.
Full Metal Corgi here.
Full Metal Corgi here says, I responded to this one. Yeah, it says, in my opinion, the bike is less dweeby than Yami wearing hardcore moto boots with literally any motorcycle style. Appropriate for sport and maybe ADV, but looks a little goofy wearing street gear, with all due respect. And then some guy said, right, I'm waiting for him to melt his boots on a Harley. Oh, wait. And then I said, have fun snapping your ankles. Yeah, the SMX is not a hardcore moto boot. That's like a Tech 5 or a Tech 7.
Yeah.
It's just like a good street boot because I value ankle protection.
And they're really comfortable.
And they're very comfortable. Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Next up is Thick Fuzz.
Thick Fuzz. This comment here says, I think they should stop putting rev limiters on bikes. Nothing sounds as bad as wa-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Wa-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. If you don't put a rev limiter, you're just revving, it'll blow up.
Yeah.
You need to limit it at some point.
That's
the whole point.
I made a whole video about why this is bad today. It's like giving me nightmares about valve float and all that stuff. But that's
God.
literally the whole point
Yeah.
of the rev limiter is to make sure that idiots don't blow up their bike because they just want to hear it rev to the moon.
Yeah. It has to stop at some point.
And I think that is the end of it, unless we want to delve deeper into the versus comment section. I feel like we got the bulk of it.
I think we. I mean, that one comment kind of summed it all up there. Yeah. I think a lot of guys, they got mad at us because they were like, "Oh, you're punching down on the versus," and it's like, "Oh, you're picking on the little kid," but it's like, not really.
No,
it's a motorcycle. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, it's weird how people ascribe these human feelings for a bike.
Same thing with the Harleys. Whenever we're making a video about, especially when it's one where, like on the Fat Bob, it was like, this is Harley's last chance to impress me or something like that.
What a great title, if we may say.
Yeah, that was a great one. And they're always like, well, you want it to be something it's not. And it's like, but it's a motorcycle. You have to review a motorcycle like any other motorcycle. We had a bunch of people in the Discord who got mad at us for saying that the 883 was a bad bike.
Yes, I remember that.
Because they were like, "Oh, you're wanting it to be something it's not." I'm like, "But it's still got two wheels and an engine. How would you like us to review it?"
Yeah.
Because if we grade this one on a curve, we have to grade everyone on a curve, and then it's all meaningless.
Yeah. You have to approach things completely objectively, and you're like, "I'm gonna jump on it. I'm just gonna give my opinion on it and see what I feel about it." Yeah, I'd like to think that at this stage in the game where I've ridden at this point probably over 150 different motorcycles, and you're probably up well over 100 at this point.
Yeah, we did like 100 last year, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, and a lot of those were ridden objectively and critically and trying to understand them, and I've got tons of track experience and off-road experience. Like, I'd like to think that when I get towards a bike, if I know the category it's in, I can figure out something about it, you know? But honestly, the thing that people don't really want to hear is that most new bikes are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, they're all pretty much fine. And so the stuff we're saying about them, it's not that there's anything wrong. It's not that there's anything bad with them. Really, all we're saying is like, oh, I just prefer this over this.
Yeah.
And that's why you come to the channel, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
Like, at a certain point, we have to be like, this bike is not for me because of my biases towards, like, I own a big stupid KLR and a big stupid Supermoto.
Yeah.
Because my tastes are borked and I need something that's different from what we normally review on the channel.
Yeah.
I
like that your Supermoto has a bigger engine than your adventure bike.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. That is so borked. Jesus Christ.
And it makes like twice as much horsepower and twice as much torque.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I really think it comes down to the fact that a lot of people, they, for whatever reason, like if they pick a bike, it's like if you talk bad about their bike, you're talking bad about them. Mm-hmm. They like intertwine the two. And at the end of the day, you got to remember, guys, it's just a motorcycle. We're just talking about motorcycles on here. Yeah. All right. We're not making fun of you. I've said this in a video before, a video that didn't get that many views. I don't care what you ride. I will like you. I will love you as a motorcyclist no matter what you ride. But I'm still going to poke fun at you. That's the whole thing about this channel. It's the whole thing about the brand. We poke fun at ourselves all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that I own a Turbo Boost and I'm just like some degenerate, like, speed freak, and I've had to like contain all this yeet energy all these years, and every bike I own has to do something insane, Mm-hmm. And then how would you describe yourself?
Deeply confused.
Deeply confused, yeah.
I mean, literally, I've been all over the place, and I have settled on stupid thumpers.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, you got to be able to make fun of yourself. We're going to get on a soapbox here a little bit. Don't get so in a tizzy if we make fun of your bike. We're not making fun of you. We're just making fun of the bike. And if you ride a Versa 650 with high vis, I'm going to poke fun at you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap up the Yamcast. Thanks so much for all the comments you folks sent over to us on Discord. Remember, if you want to join the Discord, head over to yamanoob.co. It's a cool thing to do. If you made it to the end of a Yamcast, you will like joining the Discord. I promise you.
100%.
I promise you. The energy is the same. People are awesome there. You'll get a lot out of it. It's as little as $5 a month. And for all the European folks as well, that community over there, there's tons of European people on the Discord as well. We got some Australian people on there too. It is a ton of fun. You will not regret it. And we'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Well, look at you. You've made it to the end of another Yammy Noob video. You should consider yourself pretty lucky because I have curated this one right over here for you to continue watching. It's probably just as good as the one you just saw. Unless you hated the one you just saw. I don't know, maybe leave me a comment down below about how much you hated it as well too. Or just keep watching this one. Make sure you keep watching Yammy Noob. Don't forget to keep watching Yammy Noob. That's the most important thing. Keep watching Yammy Noob.